Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a brief little review for Malyu Malyusha, Episode 2. Basically, we have some interesting stuff going on in this episode to do with the Demon King essentially trying to teach a bunch of, small town folks that are basically just up and coming, farming the land, and she's trying to teach economics and how to better manage all of their grains, their crops, and things like that, in her hope that this effort will pay off in a year to 4 years, whatever it is, according to her timetable, in the effort to make peace. Once these wars are concluded, hopefully there will be a reigning peace for a long time to come after that. That is what she really wants. And that's really at the basis, at the forefront of her teaming up with the hero. Now, in this particular episode, we're also introduced to a new character, the head maid. And it's kind of like, guesswork to see whether she's going to be a good character or an evil character. There is some wordplay about, the Demon King having an owner and displeasing him if these things don't work out. And it does make me suspicious that maybe the Demon King isn't actually the Demon King. I don't know, frankly. I mean, does she have a higher up that she answers to? But basically these are interesting questions. The great part of this episode, though, was the two little runaways, the two sisters, and they take off. They basically are slaves or serfs, as the Demon King describes them. And you have the head maid really just being callous with them. She hates, as she refers to them, insects, that sort of lemming lifestyle that won't get up and ask questions and try to rebel against people forcing slavery and enslaving them and that kind of thing. And I really thought that she was going to, against the hero's wishes, sell them out and basically send them back to where they came from, where they escaped from just barely. And sure enough, there's actually a reason for all of this. Essentially, the head maid wants to make them her underling maids and teach them to live more properly, or at least as properly as the maid service of a noblewoman would. And so it's very cool that they take these two little girls under their wing rather than selling them out and rather than sending them packing. And we do get a little sense toward the end that the Demon King has something up her sleeve which completely mystifies the hero, as far as a trick or a device that she has in hopes of seeing the outcome of teaching all of these townsfolk to do all this stuff that much quicker. So I'm really curious, is this going to be a device that's like a time jump kind of thing? They were teleporting at the beginning of the episode just without warning, and that intrigued me. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that. And it does have me wondering, though, where the Demon King exactly got all of these ideas and all of these devices from. Is she all-powerful? Is she an actual demon? She did threaten to turn people into frogs in this episode for not wanting to listen or learn what she was trying to teach, which I thought was hilarious. But we've seen those teleportations, as I mentioned. We've seen this sort of ability, at least to a point. And I have to wonder, is she envisioning the future or seeing the future and then coming back with concepts from the future? Or is she predicting the future of her own volition? Because there's something to be said for this small town sort of, old school society not yet harboring all of these agricultural sort of leaps and bounds that would make their crops last year round and thus prosper and not have starvation and all this stuff. We still see some of that archaic side of it where they still harbor slaves or serfs. And so it's very interesting to me that she's kind of trying to bring forth this sort of, renaissance or evolution for this sort of simpleton farmer town. And she wants to see this spread worldwide. So once again, you have the hero who is there by her side. He is loyal and dutiful to her. And even he starts asking himself, he's only trained to be a hero. He only knows how to sword fight. Where will he fit into play once this peace is acquired or attained? And so I just love that there are these curious elements in the storytelling, in this fanciful setting that is just fun and vibrant. And I thought it was hilarious that, you see the hero and the smaller of the two sister maids in the woods eating eating some bread, and he has this gigantic wild boar that he knocked out for food. And yeah, the charm of this series is really awesome, and I love the sort of heartening side of the story in this episode. And of course, there's also that charm in the relationship between the Demon King and the hero. She tried to kind of put the moves on him a little bit in this episode, and she was the more nervous one, whereas in the first episode, it was more so him who was nervous around her. So I like this unfolding dynamic that's happening between these two characters from polar opposite sides, and yet they've met at the middle in a sort of perfect syncopation. So that is going to be an interesting aspect of this show as it unfolds. And otherwise, that's pretty much all I have to say on this particular episode. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of it, if you're digging the series or not. I definitely am, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.